Welcome back to Little House on Laurel. I am super excited for the holidays coming up, especially Christmas. These glazed orange cranberry scones are perfect for a Christmas breakfast or to go with your afternoon tea or hot cocoa. I love creating recipes that showcase in-season fruits and vegetables. And when you bite into these tender scones, you will be delighted with the burst of tartness from the cranberries and the bright flavor of the orange zest and the orange glaze. Cranberries and oranges are both packed with vitamin C, which is especially important in the wintertime when you're trying to keep your immune system healthy to fight off viruses. Cranberries are even considered a superfood. And of course, it always tastes better when you're using something that's fresh and in season. You can make these cranberry orange scones with sourdough discard or active starter. It doesn't matter which because you don't need the active starter in order to help these scones to rise. With scones, it's really important that you keep the ingredients really cold. This helps result in a flakier pastry. It also prevents the scones from spreading during baking. So you want to use cold butter straight out of the fridge and cold cream and eggs. And if your sourdough starter has been in the refrigerator, that's actually a good thing too. A couple of quick frequently asked questions. One is if you can replace the heavy cream with milk. If you don't have any heavy cream, yes, you can definitely replace it with milk, but you'll need to add some cold butter with the milk to compensate for the fat that you're losing from not using the cream. So for this recipe, we're using 1/4 cup of heavy cream. So you could replace that with 2 tablespoons of milk and 2 tablespoons of butter. Another question is, why do you chill scones before baking? Well, in fact, this recipe does not require you to chill your scones before baking. The idea behind chilling your scones is that the ingredients stay cold until baked, which, like I said earlier, using cold ingredients, it helps to create a flakier scone. However, I don't chill my dough and my scones turn out wonderful. And then another question is, can you over knead the dough? And yes, you don't want to knead your dough too much or it will become tough and won't have that tender crumb that you're looking for. Tools that you may need for this recipe include a pastry cutter, or you can use a food processor to make it even easier to mix up the butter, a lemon zester, a rimmed baking sheet, a pastry brush, a bench scraper, and parchment paper. Okay, we're going to get started now, and I will take you along with me as I make orange cranberry sourdough scones. To a large bowl, you're going to mix together 1.5 cups of flour. And 1/2 cup sugar, 1 tablespoon of baking powder. And then you're going to mix that together. Now you're going to cut pieces of 6 tablespoons of cold butter into the dry mixture. And then you'll use either a pastry blender, or you can use 2 forks or knives, or you can even use a food processor, but you're going to cut the butter into the dry ingredients until the largest pieces are the size of peas. And this can definitely take some patience, but you want to make sure that the pieces of butter aren't too large. You're going to grate an orange, and you want to get 1 teaspoon of orange zest. And 1 orange seems to be plenty to get the 1 teaspoon of orange zest, and then the 2 tablespoons of orange juice that you need for the glaze. And then you'll add that into the dry ingredients and add 1.5 cups of cranberries. My cranberries were actually frozen from last Christmas. I had extras and I just froze them, and so you want to keep them frozen if they're already frozen. or they'll mix into the flour and turn the dough pink. I'm just going to mix in the zest and the cranberries. And then we're ready to mix the wet ingredients in a separate bowl. We're going to do 1/4 cup of heavy cream, 1/2 cup of sourdough discard, and 1 large egg beaten. And put that into the wet ingredients, and then you're going to whisk all of the wet ingredients together with a whisk. And then we're going to mix the wet ingredients into the dry ingredients. And I am going to use a Danish dough whisk. And I'm just going to mix those together gently until the dough starts to come together. Now you want to lightly flour a surface and then pour the dough out onto the surface. And you're going to fold the dough together until it becomes really firm. You don't want it to be dry. If you have a little bit too much flour, then just get rid of some. You want to be able to smush everything together, and then you're going to flatten it to about 1 1/4 inch thick just with your hands, and you want to make it into a square. Once you have the square, then you're going to cut 4 more squares out of that square, and I'm using a bench scraper to do that. You could also use like a pizza cutter or a sharp knife. And then once you have your 4 squares, you're going to cut each square in half, and that will make 8 triangles. And then you're going to place those 8 triangles onto a baking sheet lined with parchment paper. And then before baking, you're going to brush the top of each triangle with heavy cream. And you will bake these for 18 to 20 minutes or until golden brown. And the reason that you brush these with the heavy cream is because it helps to make the tops of the scones more golden while baking. While the scones are baking, you're going to make the orange glaze by whisking together 1 1/2 cups of powdered sugar, 2 tablespoons of the freshly squeezed orange juice, and 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla extract. You'll just whisk this until it's smooth. When the scones come out of the oven, you want to transfer them to a wire rack to cool. And then while they're still warm, you're going to drizzle them with the orange glaze. Now you can just use a spoon like I did, or you can get fancy and you can add the glaze into a piping bag so that you have more control and you can make it a little bit thinner of lines. It's a little bit more of a design. I usually go for the easier way, unless I'm doing this for some kind of event. And then you want to add the coarse sugar or sugar crystals to the top of the glaze before the glaze starts to solidify. Well, I hope that you try this recipe for orange cranberry sourdough scones. Please comment below and let me know if you enjoyed these scones and what you made them for. I will have the printable recipe linked in the description box, as well as other Christmas sourdough recipes. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and go ahead and subscribe to my YouTube channel. I create new videos every week with farm fresh recipes and simple living ideas to help you on your journey to a healthy and happy home. I'll see you soon.